Broad 5.5 inches. Reach 78 inches. Residence Sundersvall, Sweden. Okay. Promoter Dimitri Salita. Same guys. Big Belly Jarrell Pincushion Miller. Okay. So his record 20-0. 13 KOs. Boxweight ranking 3. Okay. So we take a look at his resume. Rafael Zumbano. What's that question mark there? Unanimous decision. Looking for recognizable names. Nope. Ivica Perkovic. Nope. I think the most recognizable name there is Rafael Zumbano. There he is. Rafael Zumbano from Brazil. 39 wins. 31 KOs. 16 losses. 6 KOs. Been knocked out 6 times. Okay, so no great shakes there. So that is Otto Wallin. Let's get into the article. So Otto Wallin, that's him. What can I say? What can anyone say? Excuse me. This is clearly another cherry for the so-called Lineal champion, Tyson Fury. He's done it again. It's another comedy hour by Tyson Fury. I am speechless, as are you, I'm sure. Yeah, that's how I feel about it, Tyson. I feel you, bro. I feel you. This is what a load of poppycock. Complete and utter poppycock. There was talk of people like Big Belly Jarrell Miller. There was talk of people like who? Who else was there? Oh, Charles Martin. Yeah. Those would have been decent fights, but no. Instead, we have Tyson Fury versus Otto Wallin. Gotta be another cherry. It's another cherry. Sorry. What can I say? How else can I explain it? Where was that? Where was that last picture? Yes, he trained with, that's it, he trained with Anthony Joshua, sparred with Anthony Joshua, was enrolled as a sparring partner by Anthony Joshua because he's a southpaw. This was in 2016 for Anthony Joshua's preparation for his championship bout against Charles Martin. Okay, where do I go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Okay, a quick look at the Sun article. Tyson Fury to fight Otto Wallin in September in the final warm-up before his expected bout with Deontay Wilder. The expected rematch. Let's skim through this. It's a quick article anyway. Tyson Fury is set to build on his June win over unknown Tom Schwartz with a September battle against the little-known Otto Wallin. What did Otto Wallin do to deserve his crack at the so-called Lineal champion? Is this a worthy opponent? A worthy opponent for the so-called Lineal champ? Anyway, the 30-year-old Gypsy King had been talking about fighting Deontay Wilder. A Deontay Wilder-like opponent with a big American following this summer to help prepare for their supposed 2020 rematch. Let's go through this, but below the road radar, Swedish southpaw Otto Wallin has leapt out of the hat for a September 14 clash in Las Vegas. Las Vegas? I thought he was going to go to the East Coast this time. The last one was in Las Vegas, and he pulled it against Tom Schwartz, where he pulled in, he sold 5,500 tickets, did Tyson Fury. I thought they were going to go to somewhere like Madison Square Garden. That was the talk, but evidently not. Still over in Las Vegas. I wonder if they're going to improve on the 5,000 and 5,500 tickets sold this time. I don't know. Time will tell. Wallin is unbeaten, but his 20 previous opponents have racked up 259 defeats between them and registered just 271 wins. Oh dear. Oh dear. So, Fury was forgiven for demolishing pushover Schwartz inside 2 rounds, as it was his Las Vegas debut and first bout with American promoters, Top Rank. But fans are unlikely to be impressed with his latest dance partner, who served as a sparring partner for Anthony Joshua before his 2016 win over fellow lefty Charles Martin. Wallin's promoter, Dimitri Salita, told Sunsport, "I am very optimistic that the fight will be made. An announcement from Top Rank will be coming out in the next week." Former world champion Martin was mentioned as a possible Fury opponent, as was interim WBA champ Trevor Bryant and drugs cheat Big Belly Jarrell Miller. But fight fans will have to make do with Wallin, whose most recent fight was his first outside of Europe, but ended in a non-contest, or as a non-contest, due to a first round clash of heads. Okay, so what can one say? What can one say? This is the BBC Sport article. Oh dear. Who is Otto Wallin? Let's just have a look at this section. Boxing's 4 major global sanctioning bodies, IBF, WBA, WBO, and the WBC. Wallin is ranked 4th in the WBA and 11th by the IBF. And that's interesting because if you check out my video, my piece on the WBA dropping, what's his name? Dillian White. If you check out that video, you will also note that I expressed my surprise that they had also dropped Oscar Rivas out of the top 15. The WBA dropped Oscar Rivas out of the top 15. One could argue there is a case for dropping Dillian White, although I think that's a bit harsh. But one could argue there's a case for that whilst this adverse finding, this UCAD adverse finding is investigated. One could argue there's a case for dropping Dillian White, even though it could be considered harsh. But to drop Oscar Rivas out of the top 15 for losing to the guy who was made mandatory and interim champion, so to drop out of the top 15 of the WBA because you lost to the guy who became mandatory for the WBC and the interim champion for the WBC, and then as a result of losing a points decision, you then drop out of the top 15 of the WBA? Really? I express some grave concerns about that. That seems highly peculiar. But in that same video, I pointed out that there was this cat by the name of Otto Wallin, who was ranked number 4. This pretty much unknown guy was ranked number 4 in the WBA, and so it came to pass. He was on unbeaten record, and so it came to pass that he had all the ingredients of a Tyson Fury opponent. Yeah, of recent times. He picked the unbeaten Schwartz, who I think was ranked number 2 in the WBO at that point. Yeah, so unbeaten and undeservedly high-ranking opponent seemed to be fair the fare for Tyson Fury these days. That seems to be the ingredient. High ranking, unbeaten, undeservedly high ranking, most would say. Certainly, I would sympathize with that position. But anyway, let's see what they have to say about him in this BBC Sports article. Who is Otto Wallin? Yeah, he's ranked number 4 in the WBA, as I pointed out in my Dillian White gets dropped by the WBA video, and 11th by the IBF. His last bout in April was judged a no contest with the accidental clash of heads versus Nick Kissner. Left the American cut and unable to continue. The bout in Atlantic City was the first Wallin had contested outside of Europe. Facing Fury in Las Vegas will prove an altogether different spectacle with a dramatic peak in interest and pre-fight media demands. Do I even go into this? Does it make sense for Fury? Does Wallin make sense for Fury? I don't know. Do I even read this? It doesn't make any sense. There's no point in it. It's just a waste of time, much like this fight. So, that's the outshot. That's the outshot. That's the upshot. That's what's happening. It's Tyson Fury versus near unknown Otto Wallin of Sweden. September 14th, somewhere in Las Vegas. All I can say is, I can just sigh. This is crazy. How many other people could get away with such low-hanging fruit? Let's be clear about this. Let's go to Tyson Fury's BoxRec page. So, it's 28-0, 1 draw. When we look at his fare, Tyson Fury's fare, when we look at his dining habits, we see Christian Hammer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go back 6 places. After the Chisora fight, Chisora 2, we have Christian Hammer, low-hanging fruit. Vladimir Klitschko, yeah, he's a champ. Very respectable win over Dr. Steelhammer. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. His last 4 fights. Sefa Safiri, low-hanging fruit, very low-hanging fruit. Francesca Pianetta, very low-hanging fruit, so low it's almost touching the ground. Deontay Wilder, very respectable, another champion. And then followed by Tom Schwartz, very, very low-hanging fruit. And then the next opponent to be placed here will be Otto Wallin, also low-hanging fruit. So it seems he's having low-hanging fruit, couple of low-hanging fruit, then a big one, couple of low-hanging fruit, then a big one. How many top fighters could get away with this? Not many at all. Not many at all.